Hi guys, and welcome to another episode of Game Chat. I'm Chris, and with me today we have Brian.
Hello.
We have Jake.
Hey.
And
we have no one else.
Yeah, I was literally about to say and then literally there's no one else here. And today's episode is the big Star Wars Jedi Survivor episode. So we're going to try and keep the tiny bit at the start like spoiler free. So Jake, what did you think of it? Overall thoughts without any spoilers.
I thought it was really good. Sorry, the temptation to just blow it out at the ending. I really enjoyed what I played of it, and I'm not looking forward to getting all the collectibles, but it is what it is.
Fair enough. Brian?
I really enjoyed it. So much better than the first one because you didn't have to do that annoying backtracking so much. Really good game. Combat so much better.
Yeah, I'd agree. It's much better than the first one. It does everything the first one does well, but much better. And the things that the first one did badly, like the map, are much improved in this one. Not perfect, but like a lot better and a lot easier to use. But yeah, that's our spoiler-free thoughts. So if you care about spoilers, stop watching now, I guess. So we're going to jump straight into spoilers. But where do we want to start? Do we want to start with story, gameplay? Where do you want to go?
Well, the gameplay kind of comes in along with the story, like how you start with everything you finished the first game with.
Yeah.
So you didn't have to do the Batman Arkham situation of like, oh, you fucking lost everything again. So
yeah, I think that was definitely like one of the best things going into it because you still feel powerful and you're not like, because I tried playing Fallen Order before this and going back to the start of Fallen Order where you have no double jump, you have, no force abilities. It's like, wow, I feel so weak right now. But yeah, going into this, you felt powerful from the start. It was really good. I really enjoyed that.
And then you just got more powerful as it progressed. Because before it came out, it was like, well, how are they going to do this? What actually can he actually learn?
Yeah,
on top of what
I did think that beforehand. I was like, you can't learn too much more because like you've already got the basics down. But like getting the dash ability later, that was like when I felt like, oh, this is cool.
Oh, it's painful. Or when you go back to New Game Plus and you don't have it.
Do they take that? Do you not keep that after New Game Plus?
You keep your other kind of upgrades like map and all your bits and bobs and your health and your stims and your force bar. You keep all them, but the progression upgrades you don't, because otherwise you'll end up like breaking the game because you'll be able to get to places you're not technically supposed to be able to get to yet.
Oh yeah, that makes sense. Actually, I saw a thing on TikTok earlier where there's a thing where if you somehow glitch the game and get to an area you're not supposed to,
it gives
past the story, it gives you a little pop-up saying you're not supposed to be here. But it allows you to carry on if you want to. It just might break the game. So,
speedrunners are going to have a field day with it.
Oh yeah. But yeah, in terms of gameplay, the dash was probably my favourite bit, like getting added, because that just makes the movement feel so much more fluid and stuff. And having like a lot more, I can't remember if you got them in the first one, but like the force abilities when you fight into like pull in a load of people or like push them all out. That wasn't a thing in the first game, was it?
I think it was. It just wasn't as powerful.
Okay.
Yeah, they weren't as like good.
But they did take away force slow, because I remember before I used to freeze everyone.
Yes.
And then like pull them into their own bolts.
Well, they have that one where you put in the sticks and that slows everybody down around you.
Yeah, but then that's not the same, because when you hit somebody, they go back to normal speed.
Yeah. Because I was watching Kate play Fallen Order the other day, and I was like, I forgot you had the whole slow force thing. Like, because when she did it, I was like, I don't remember having this in like Survivor at all until like unless it was that big move.
What lightsaber stances did you both use?
Oh, see, I'm a basic bitch because I had the standard one and then two of them. But like, I did try some of the newer ones. So I tried the gun one. It felt okay, but it was only useful in certain situations. So I was like, I'd rather have the standard, which was kind of useful in all situations, especially boss fights. And then for like groups of people, I just used the 2 lightsabers for the most part, anyway.
I was a
played it on
dual
easy
Devon
mode,
Blaster.
Oh, hang on.
Oh, story mode was so funny because you just slap everybody and they're dead, and you're like, and then you go up to the next difficulty up because some new game plus, and it's like, oh, I'll try that. Plus, I've got this like skill which changes some of the enemies, and it's like, oh, it actually feels like a game now.
Did you both play on story mode originally?
Yeah.
Oh no. So like, you didn't even have to block
needed
or
to get
anything.
to the story as soon as possible.
No, I get that. I get that. Spoilers were turning
stuff spoiled on YouTube like a day or two before it came out, and I'm like, why?
Yeah.
Why?
I had we'll get into it later, but I had one certain thing spoiled by a tweet, which was a tweet that said no spoilers and then something, and I was like, but the something that he said afterwards completely gave away what it was. But I'll get onto that when we get onto that bit of the game. But yeah, and in terms of like, yeah, what did you use, Jake? Lightsabers style?
I tried to use all of them as much as I could. But I think the ones that I went back to the most are probably the dual wield and the crossguard.
Crossguard. See, you're one of the very few people that I know that like the crossguard.
I can see how it'd be annoying in harder difficulties.
Yeah.
Because the attack animations are so long.
Yeah. It's just very...
I actually blocked quite a lot when I use that, and I don't usually block in games. I try to just power through.
I tried to use it because like I play like Elden Ring and stuff like that, so I thought, oh, it'll feel a bit more like that with the big swords, but like it just felt too slow for it. Like, I'm supposed to be playing a Jedi, and I was like, I don't want to feel slow. I want to feel like...
The kill animations are the best with the crossguard.
Yeah, some of them are absolutely brutal.
I liked the blaster one, but like you said, there's not really a lot of use for it.
Yeah.
The only times I actually use the blaster is if I was fighting, the little bounty hunters with a jetpack.
Yeah, just the
jump troopers,
that's down kind of thing. Yeah, that's true. I like the style because it was kind of like a Count Dooku fencing style kind of thing.
Yeah.
The way he uses it, but like, it just made the lightsaber a lot. I felt like a lot less powerful with the lightsaber, with having the gun out as well. Which I get the point that you're supposed to have the gun and shoot people as well. But like, I always kept running out of bullets, and then I had to keep going and hitting people, and it was just that one also felt slower than the rest in terms of using the lightsaber.
Because you had to like hit people to replenish your bullets or something.
Yeah.
That's the one for me that felt the most like shoehorned in.
And then you can equip perks which kind of negate some of those negatives.
Oh.
Yeah.
Maybe it actually recharges your things quicker and stuff.
I see.
So it's kind
I'd liked it if like all the stances could be used.
Like swapped between as you wanted.
Like in Ghost of Tsushima.
Yeah,
I can understand
I did think that.
why. Because
yeah, there's not enough buttons.
Yeah, literally.
I would have liked to be able to change them in the menu, because like you can only change them at the rest points, and I'm like, I just ended up not. I just ended up at that point not changing them, because like if I could change it for a specific boss fight where I thought maybe the gun would be helpful, I would have done that. I would have paused and changed, kind of thing. But the fact that you can only do it at those points, I just never changed in the end, and I ended up leveling up the 2 I was using to like the full skill level, like all of the skills, and I was just like, there's no point in me changing to the others because they just feel less powerful now at this point. So,
well, you didn't have enough skills to max out everything.
Not
skill.
Well, I could have. I will soon, but like because I was literally just trying to get the story done at the end, and I was like, not skipping the side stuff, but like not looking for every single like thing or whatever. I didn't get.
He knew full well that if I got back from London and he still hadn't finished the game, that I'd start spoiling shit.
Yeah. I wanted to do this, so I wanted to get it done.
How far have you gotten, Jake? How far have you gotten? It's like, oh.
I like that Jake started it before me because I knew he'd be further, so I could message him about it, like knowing 100% he'd be further than me anyway.
Chris, it doesn't matter what time I start a game, I will always be ahead of you because I'm practically retired.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, I like this. It's helpful because if I get stuck, I just message Jake now. Like, what's going on?
And I didn't post my screenshots to Twitter like I usually do.
I appreciate that.
I did find a couple of times where I'd get to points and I'm just standing in a room. I'm like, where the heck am I supposed to go?
Yeah.
And it's like, because some of the scratches in the walls and stuff or the things to climb up, they're not obvious. And because they added in that new mechanic of climbing overhead.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So I kept forgetting about that because of Fallen Order so many times that wasn't a thing.
Yeah.
I'd keep forgetting about it. I'm like, where do I go?
The amount of times I was like stood around thinking, what the actual hell do I do?
Yeah.
And like me and Nathan would be looking at the screen for about 15 minutes. And then I'd see it and be like, I'm such a dumb bitch. Like, that was so obvious.
Legit, that happened to me so many times. The map's definitely improved, like, a lot.
It's still not great.
It's still not the best, but like, it's usable now.
I get like the style they're going for, but I just don't think it works.
It's like you mark the map of where you want to go, and it's like, yeah, but there's no thing to tell me if I'm going the right way. BD, I need to look for your eyes to see if I'm going in the right direction.
I never use that. I never look. I just went straight back to the map again.
I went on the accessibility settings and I turned on navigation assist, thinking it had put something on the screen.
What does that
do? It adds a marker to your map that tells you the way on the map to go, but not on the actual screen. So is it a navigation assist, or does it just add you an extra map marker?
Do we need extra map markers? I feel like that's actually like counterintuitive. It's hard to read it as it is, but it's better than it was. You know what actually helps? You don't have to go back to your ship after every mission because you can fast travel.
Yeah, I love that.
Like in the first game, because I'm watching Kate play through it now, and she's just like every time she has to go back to her ship, she gets lost, and it's like, especially on Zepho, which is the worst place. But like,
can you imagine having to do all that like extra shit like the bounty hunters and stuff without fast travel?
Mate, that's
well, the thing is though, you get those two bounty hunters where you can't fast travel to directly where they are. You need to fast travel to just decide and then work your way through, and it's like, there's so many places where you don't want to go again. It's like,
yeah, but I liked how they made it their own like little mission where you had to get through. It's like a little dungeon where you had to get through all the other bounty hunters to get to that bounty hunter. I thought that was cool. I mean, we haven't really touched massively on the story yet, so I mean, what big story spoiler does anyone want to just jump into straight away?
His name's just that's it. Enoch Condova, he's not dead.
Yeah, I was shocked about that.
In the first game, but he wasn't dead.
When
I played it back, they never actually said he was dead.
I just assumed.
They just really, really made you think that he was.
Because like when I found him on Jedi, I messaged Jake. I was like, "I thought this guy was dead," but apparently not.
Because I messaged like, "How far have you gotten now?" He's like, "I've just gotten to the bit with the reveal of the Sentry or something." You said, didn't you?
Yeah.
It was, I thought he was dead as well.
Brian, did you try and take a picture of him in photo mode?
No.
Because me and Jake had like a similar issue where we jumped to photo mode.
We had the opposite issue.
See, when I did it, okay, which one was yours, Jake? Because I can't remember what mine was.
Mine was the one where his head was like
inside his like torso, and then he got like a Yarl poof neck for me when I in photo mode, which was really weird. But like, I don't know whether that was just a problem with like his model, but those kind of glitches, I find them funny. I'm fine with those.
Yeah, to be fair.
I was shocked to see him, to be fair.
And do you know when we had that boss fight where you had Merrin with you taking on the Are you on about the big spider bot? You know what I'm on about today, the squid droid thing?
Mate, that's the best bit of the game. I fucking love that shit.
Do you know when you're flying it, is that how she teleports? Is that what they're implying? Is that's how she actually teleports?
No, because I feel like she did something to make that a separate power. Because she like drinks.
Yeah, she had like a little swig of vodka or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was just so she could let him be able to do it with her.
Maybe. No, maybe. I don't think that's how she teleports normally, but maybe.
Because when she teleports, it's not like an instantaneous, she's here. She'll vanish here, and like a second or two pass, and then she pops up there. It's like when she'd get onto those creepy things on Jeddah. The things you ride.
The spin-offs.
I love those
spannels. Yeah.
Oh,
that's so cute.
Oh.
Are they those things in the background of the Mandalorian episode in Ahsoka? With Ahsoka in? Because they're like the big tall things like that in the background, and I'm sure it's them.
I haven't seen it in a while, so I'll have to.
But anyway, yeah, the bit where you're going down the fucking through the green things, and it's all like really cool. I fucking love that bit. That bit of that game will stick in my head for like it's one of those like gaming moments where it's like that'll be like that's one of my favorite moments in any video game. I fucking love that.
Do you know what? Whenever the story was like you've got to go to Jeddah, was the best part of the game for me because everything that happened on Jeddah was just fucking amazing.
Unless you're just exploring Jeddah.
Thing under the sand.
Yeah, apart from him.
What thing under the sand?
The scorpion at the very first part.
Oh, fuck that thing. Did you kill the gold
can't you
one?
Just pull it out?
Did you kill the gold one? Oh, I thought you meant. Oh, you mean the big one. Oh, okay, I know you mean.
Where
that.
you run in through at the beginning.
Right at the start.
Well, where am I supposed to go then? Because I went this way. I'm like.
Can you like fight that at any point? Because I need to go back there for collectibles, and I don't want to.
No, I don't think I've ever gone back to that particular
still
bit.
Just does the same. It's like that bit where you need to climb up that pillar. It's like I'm killing you. Jumps down. He just hides back under the sand. Grabs you. You're dead. It's like.
But like I think that moment with Merrin was probably like better than any like a better set piece moment than any like the Uncharted games or Tomb Raider games or anything like that. Like it's probably one of the best set piece moments in any game I've ever played. I was like I had a big grin on my face doing that. And I didn't fuck it up at all once, which was really good.
I really love where they took Merrin's story in this game.
Merrin is fantastic in this game.
And I really, really liked that like it was her who started helping the path and then she brought Sia in, not the other way around.
Yeah. Yeah. Speaking of the path, I'm actually glad they're tying that in from like Obi-Wan. That's so like cool.
Apparently in the Kenobi show, on the wall with all the names in Arabesh, Sia and Eno's names are actually on the wall.
For fuck's sake. And what are you saying no one noticed beforehand?
Fuck.
No one noticed it till now. I wonder if do you reckon that means they could ever show up in a show?
What?
Not fucking now.
Not Sia. Yeah, unless it's set before. But yeah,
well, it's like bringing him into one of the shows. It's like I can't see them doing that until after the last game, because otherwise it would give away the ending of the trilogy.
And I also feel that Respawn would want to keep those characters' stories to themselves, like to actually like they want to decide rather than some random show decide, and until after like they're done with him or the other characters. I feel like that's the way they'd want it to be.
The only place I wish they'd showed up is, you know that Tales of the Jedi episode where Ahsoka's learning how to like.
Oh, the one where you get a glimpse of little Kanan and Death of Galaba.
Oh yeah.
I wish it was Cal and Jaro Tapal instead, just because I feel like they only used Kanan because they had his model from Bad Batch.
Yeah, that would have been cool, and that would have made sense, and wouldn't have made that much of a difference. Yeah.
Or they could have just had both.
Yeah, true. I mean, speaking of Cal, Cal in this game is, I feel like a much better character than he was in the first game.
Yeah, he's actually a character now instead of just there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I really like. I mean, how do we feel about Cal and Merrin, like together?
I love it.
Yeah, real good. I love it.
You haven't read Battle Scars, have you, Chris?
Yes, I have. I listened to it. Yeah, I listened to it using your Audible.
It's like she's really toyed with his emotions, though, isn't she?
I know, yeah.
She bangs another girl in his bed, and then stays around, and then buggers off, and then comes back, and then she's kissing him. It's like, wow. Wow.
He's got a beard now. That's what it is. He's really into beards, apparently. But yeah, I loved their like relationship like, as it grew throughout the game, and then like to the moment where they kissed and stuff. It was cute.
Yeah, are they actually together now? Because at the end of the game, it's like so.
You can go and talk to Merrin.
So what happens now with Ash?
Yeah.
And it's like, did they break up because he went?
No, I think when you go and talk to Merrin after you finish the game, she's like, they both like they don't want it to go back to how it was before. So I think they're clearly something, but they're just not sure what to do with it for now, I guess. But I assume they're going to be a thing in the next game.
I'm glad she got a lot more focus in this game as well, because in the first game it's like, oh, she joins you, and it's like, you need to just do this mission now.
In the first game, she joins, and you're like, oh, she's really cool. I like this character. And then the game ends, and you're like, oh.
She's the Kata of the first game.
Yeah.
Like, if you like fly around a lot and talk to her when you land, you get quite a lot of story with her. But because you get her so late, a lot of people just don't.
Yeah. Speaking of Kata, yeah, that was weird. You just glowed. Speaking of Kata, what do we think about Bode's whole story?
Oh, he was a dick, wasn't he?
It really shocked me. It was full sensitive and like a former Jedi.
Like
you'd see him stabbing me in the back a mile away.
Yeah, to be fair, I was saying to Jake from the start, like I'm like, I really should like this Bode character because he's got like a jetpack and guns, and he's just like, so he's one of those like really cool characters. Like that is my vibe, and I was like, but it's something off about him. He's dodgy as fuck for some.
I even guessed that he was like an ISB plant.
I didn't know that though, but like
when he come in, he was like, "Oh yeah, I'm just like a random mercenary. I'm helping you in Saw Gerrera," and I was like,
"Yeah,
no, you're not."
It was he was just like, because he just joined as well. That crew as well. Yeah. It's like, and he's just conveniently the only other one that survives. I was like, this is shifty. Like I knew he'd betray me 100%, but like you said,
it's just like
like I was mad at him when he shot Cordova because I was like, I know I thought he was dead, but we just got him back, and we didn't really get to see him do much. But then obviously, I was like, well shocked when he got the lightsaber and used the Force on me. I was like, oh my god.
I think like it wasn't necessarily shocking, but like the way that story was executed was on par with the Revan reveal in Knights of the Old Republic. It was really well done.
Yeah, did she taking Gungaira's lightsaber?
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't even clock that at first. I thought it was just his own, and then obviously later I was like, "Hang on a minute."
It's like I knew take his lightsaber, but I can't take his robes.
That's true.
I was like double confirmed that he was shady when you defeated Dagon, and he was just like, "Yeah, I'm just gonna stay here for a bit."
Yeah, I was like, "Why?"
Yeah, because if you go back to that place, there's a Force Echo, and because it's like scattered around the different planets of Bode and his decisions and why he's doing what he's doing. And there's one there, and it's like, oh, I'll take this lightsaber. It's like, oh.
I do love how his daughter watched me like brutally shoot him in the chest. Right?
That's the one.
And then she's just like, "Oh, sad. I'm coming with you guys now."
That's the one story thing in this game that doesn't really sit with me, where it's like, this is just weird. Like,
yeah, but she kind of saw that her dad was going a bit nuts. Like he nearly killed her by making the floor drop. It's like,
I get that,
and she's like, "Dad, stop!"
But like,
I need to choke out a new BFF, Merrin.
She doesn't seem too traumatized about any of it. like she doesn't seem bothered at all.
Yeah,
and it's
she
like
probably didn't see much of it because how long was he with you for?
Yeah, but like, she knows you're the. Even if I didn't like my dad and someone killed him, I still wouldn't be happy with that person.
Especially if your mum was already dead. Like,
yeah, that's like all her family gone. I feel like it's gonna.
Maybe that's what the next game's going to be about.
I do.
She's like, I've been plotting this all this time. She's going to do a raver thing with Darth Vader. It's like, I'm going to kill you now, Cal.
I wouldn't be surprised if she's the playable character of the next game.
Yeah.
And that's how they get around
one of them. Like,
Cal being too powerful.
Yeah, I feel like Cal is going to potentially go more into the dark side.
Well, Cal could be the main antagonist of the next game.
Yeah. Because like when they give you that dark side power, they don't take it away after that bit of the game.
Unless you do force tears, and then it's just back to force slow.
Okay. Oh, right, in the actual force tears. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense. But like that whole like when they make that the evil power, like that power is OP as fuck. Like any bosses you struggle with in the main game, go back and do that power, you'll be fine. Like it is OP as fuck. And
you get that stripped away from you as well.
What?
In New Game Plus.
Oh, do you? That makes sense.
Don't get that.
That's a big story thing, isn't it? But like I still don't like using it because I feel like Cal wouldn't want to use it if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Because that's the whole point of it.
And if you do, Merrin's angry with you.
Yeah. I think it's like a good way of marrying like gameplay with like the story where it's like I had it in that last fight against Bode. I didn't want to use it though, and I tried not to use it until the last minute where I had to, and I was like, but I could have used it, and it made that fight so much easier on myself. But like, I just didn't want to, and I think that's cool how that works.
That Merrin's like Cal's like emotional compass when it comes to using the dark side.
Yeah, considering she's a night sister.
She uses the dark side.
Yeah.
She's like, not you though. You're too wholesome.
I love them as like a duo though. I think that's really cool.
I didn't expect Dagon to get yeeted as soon as he did, though.
Yeah.
And Ravis. It's like,
especially Ravis. Ravis was like, you fought him like once properly.
Ravis really actually was one of the things I didn't enjoy about this game.
They could have done so much more with his boss fight.
His species are supposed to be so notoriously hard to kill that you literally have to dump them in a star to kill them.
Yeah.
And Cal just like stabs him with a lightsaber.
And like,
yeah, but he didn't die though, did he? He just like, nah, I can't be bothered for this. I'm going. He beat me. I'm going.
No, you killed him, right? Didn't you kill him?
No.
Yeah, because he's like, please give me a warrior's death.
Yeah.
No, he didn't kill him though. He left.
Oh, I thought he died.
I thought he died as well.
No, he left.
But
he just leaves. He's like, I'm out.
I'm sure he died. Oh well.
No.
But either way, that boss fight was really disappointing because they could have done so much more with that in terms of like he will grow. He can like repair anything and grow back limbs or whatever. Yeah. Like they weren't really that creative with.
And he just had like a squiggly arm for half of the boss fight.
Yeah, like they weren't really. They could have been so much more creative with that boss fight, and it was just that's one of the things that really annoyed me. In terms of is it Dagon or Dagon? I don't even know how to say his fucking name.
Dagon? Good question.
It's in terms of
Dagon because it's DAG. Dagon.
He was cool to begin with, and then it was kind of like I don't know. He didn't really.
Okay, we get it.
he wasn't really much of an antagonist, really.
He was very one note.
Yeah.
He gave me vibes, Chris. You haven't seen it, but there's a character in Final Fantasy VII Advent Children. When I first saw him, I got those vibes, and when you actually see him in the game, it's like
I know who you mean.
Those vibes.
I liked his I like the whole like bringing in the High Republic into this game. Like I thought it was cool. They could have done it a lot more, but like I like how they sprinkle it in, so it's not like overwhelming for those who haven't.
When he's talking about those like marauders, and you missed the fact that
because they didn't have subtitles on. I didn't know they were
in the subtitles, but not in the dialogue.
Legit,
but because you don't see the subtitles, you didn't get that, and I'm like, why wouldn't you not just say the Nile?
Yeah, legit. Like, just as a little nod for those people that have read the books.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's cool it's in the subtitles, but I didn't have them on, so I was like...
There's like a codex entry about them, so like the game does address them.
Yeah, when you go to Tanalor at the end, and you find one of their ships, and it actually says the Nihil. I was like, oh, okay. But, yeah.
Was Ravis a Nihil originally then? Because if he knew Dagon all those years ago...
I mean, there's potential for that, I guess. They don't really explain really where he.
No, they're just like, oh yeah, we were mates like back in the day.
But like they fought each other, and he beat him. So he's like, yeah, no, I got to do everything you say now. Like,
well, why couldn't he do that with Cal?
Yeah, he's tired at this point. He's like, I just kill me, man. I want to die. But yeah, I did enjoy Dagon's boss fights. I thought they were really cool, and how you did like 3 of them, and they like evolved each way. Because like the last one, he had a fucking force hand, and I thought that was really cool.
Yeah,
I thought it was a force illusion. I thought he wasn't actually using that.
No, I don't think he was. But like,
I thought that was to do with that thing which he did to Bowden, and he did that thing to Cal to make him stick to the ceiling.
Yeah, but that was really cool as well. Like visually, it looked really cool. But I also like in the second fight when you can't see the arm, but like he's using that arm to fight with the fucking lightsaber, and that's so cool. I love that shit. Like they actually make him seem as powerful as they say like the High Republic Jedis are. So I was like, this is really cool because he's doing something like, especially the ceiling thing. That's like something completely different that we've never seen another Jedi do. So that's really cool. I like that. Did anyone think at the end of that fight that because he was doing all the illusion stuff,
not dead,
that you potentially may have killed Bode when you thought you killed him, and then he was going to be Bode? Like,
God, I wish.
Because that would have been cool. That's what I thought at one point.
Us, wouldn't it?
But no, it wasn't. But I thought he was really cool. I liked him. I liked
that his motivation was that Jedi Council Ofsted shut down his school.
Yeah. His motivations are a bit iffy. But I was like, is this enough to like completely like betray everybody and start killing a load of Jedi, which he did? I don't think so.
I want, like, they didn't really explain that planet very well because they were like,
it's basically the Jedi version of Exegol. You need a little thing to get there.
It definitely had Exegol vibes when they were going through the thing.
Like the way that the game played made it seem like something about that planet was corrupting people because they were getting so obsessed by it. But they never like lean into that.
I mean, maybe that'll be a thing on the 3rd game.
Maybe. Hope so.
Because they haven't really been there that long, so maybe it will start doing that. Maybe be interesting.
And it annoyed me as well. I was like going around getting some collectibles yesterday, and I went to the moon.
Oh yeah.
And I landed on the moon, and Cal was like, "It was either Cal or Marion was like, I feel bad for all these droids that are just stuck up here now." And then Marion goes, "Well, we could use them on Tanalorr." So I thought like, oh, I have to go towards one of them, but no.
I felt sorry for the droids all the way through that fucking game because they're all so like just derpy as fuck, and just like they're making like so many jokes and stuff. I didn't want to kill half of them.
Well, the battle droids, they're so useless because it's like you get the upgrade for BD so you can take them over. You take them over, they throw a grenade at themselves and blow up. And
I love the ones that try and throw, like they get the grenades and then they're just like throwing it, juggling it, and then they blow themselves up. I love that. I love how like lent into like the Clone Wars style battle droids with the humor and everything. Yeah. I love that. I love that for them.
What did you think of Z?
Is that the droid? That's a droid, right?
So irritating, but she was a really cool concept.
Her voice reminded me of the one out of Solo.
Yeah.
Which I'm not a big fan of anyway. But I thought having a High Republic droid was a cool thing, and seeing all the like High Republic tech and stuff like in actually like visually rather than reading it, like that's really cool. But yeah, she didn't really do much though, other than be a shop.
Oh,
you know,
I get kidnapped.
True. Can
you remember the original trailer when it first came out?
Yeah.
With Cal's lightsaber getting given to that senator. I was expecting that to be a bigger thing in the game. It's just the intro, and it's like
the intro when you just kill him, and it's like well, he dies. But like I was just like,
and I'm not surprised at the century of the Inquisitor coming back.
Yeah, literally, we all like when we all play Fallen Order, we were like, yeah, that Inquisitor ain't dead.
It was nice that we actually found out her actual Jedi name, though.
She says it in the first game, right?
Did he?
I don't know if it's in the first game, but I think it was in like a comic or something.
I swear.
It's the name of like the trophy you get for defeating her.
Oh yeah, that's why. I was gonna say Kate fought her.
Tide.
Yeah. Kate fought her the other day and beat her, and that I think it is a trophy. That makes sense. It's cool that she came back, even though she didn't really last much longer.
It was absolutely savage that Cal just like fucking
chopped her head off. Yeah. He's a bit savage in this game.
When I played through the game, Nathan was like, I feel like what the parts I've watched hasn't really like shown Cal struggling with the dark side. It feels a bit out of the blue. I was like, mate, he chopped the Inquisitor's head off in the first 10 minutes of the game.
When he did that, and then BD just makes a noise, and he's like, "I'm okay." Like he's asking if he's alright. Bro. Yeah, like literally. BD's there, like regardless of what Cal does, he's still there. He's still with him.
One thing about the game that did kind of disappoint me a bit was the like location selection.
Yes,
was the bit
6.
Right, like just in terms of how many
the Shattered Moon of Kobo,
planets,
that Imperial base, and Tanalor. And Tanalor I wouldn't even call a location. It's just like
it's a corridor.
Literally, yeah. The one interesting thing about Tanalor is it plays some cool music while you're there.
The only like place that felt different to me was Coruscant.
Yeah, and you're barely there.
Because Jeddah's a desert. Most of Kobo is a desert.
Yeah.
And then the Shattered Moon is just an applied version of the ruins from Kobo.
Yeah.
And the ISB base is just an applied version of the Imperial base.
Yeah. Like, I think it's cool that we got Jeddah. And it makes sense for the story, obviously, because of the building and everything.
I'd have liked there to been more Jedi-related things there.
Yeah.
So, like, you know when you're walking around Ilum and you pick up, like, a piece of broken part and he has, like, a flashback?
Yeah.
I'd have liked more of that about, like, Jedi lore.
There's, like cool statues around and stuff, but, like, nothing too much lore-wise.
Yeah. Feels like a bit of a missed opportunity.
Yeah.
With, like, Cal's...
Like, the game rushed out, though, didn't they? So...
Well, yeah, and then literally said they wanted it because they rushed it out because they wanted to get it out ahead of Zelda, which is hilarious.
That's like, understandable, though.
Yeah, I get it. But, like, that's why the game released with an atrocious PC version, which is just funny for people who play on console, I guess. It was, you know what?
Playing a Seer.
I loved that part of the game.
I really enjoyed that. Like, that whole, like, the last quarter of that game, let's say the last third, actually, is just wild.
Yeah.
Like, it just,
One of my favourite things about the Seer gameplay section is that even though she's got most of the same powers, apart from one, she felt very different to play as Cal.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd agree with that.
And I really like that.
Yeah.
Because that was the spoiler I'd seen on a YouTube thumbnail a couple of days before, is Seer's fight on Jeddah with Vader. I was like, what?
Again.
What?
Here we go again.
Yeah, because that's what happened with the first one. It was like, Vader fight? What? And that was like a day or two before the game came out. And it was like, why? Why do I keep getting these Vader fight? Although I thought that was the end of the game from seeing that thumbnail. So when it just kept going, I was like, oh.
Yeah. Like, the fight was amazing. The fight was hard. Obviously, I don't know if it would be for you guys being on story mode. But it was a cool fight. It
wasn't easy because he kept, like, flinging it. And
yeah. He's always pulling you towards him, and yeah. But it was a cool fight, and she almost won. Like, Vader struggled a bit with that fight.
If she was a few centimeters to the left.
Literally. Well, they both would have died at that point, I reckon. Well,
if the original trilogy didn't exist, he could have actually stood a chance. He just had that thing called plot armor.
As soon as he walked in, I was like, well, Seer's dead now, right? Like, there's no way, there's no chance she's surviving this.
I knew she was dead as soon as she was like, I'll go back and get this, like, these codes because we've got to save them no matter what the cost. And I was like, well, you're dying.
And when she's like, BD, you got to go. And I'm like, well, you're not leaving either.
I was half expecting it to be the Grand Inquisitor walking in like, hello.
That would have been top dance, to be fair. Same. I was expecting an Inquisitor of some type, but I didn't expect Vader.
This might be the fight which actually puts Vader into the Bacta tank for him to be in that Bacta tank at the beginning of Kenobi.
That's true.
Because they happen at around about the same
I was thinking this
time period.
This is just before Kenobi, I'd probably say, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Makes sense. You could be right there, Brian, to be fair. I love how every time we see Vader, he's just a fucking badass. Like, they never really disappoint with Vader, do they? I'm thinking like.
What did you think of the other big cameo?
Boba Fett.
Of your boyfriend.
Yeah. To be fair, like, it's a good job I did the bounty hunts before we did this, because I wouldn't have got there. But then again, I had been spoiled it, and I'll tell you the tweet I saw. So someone goes, "No spoilers," but how is this character better than in his own show? And I was like, well, I saw that tweet like before the game, like just as the game came out. I was like, well, I know who the fuck that is, because no one liked the Boba Fett show.
And it was me being shady with the thing of, before you finish your game, make sure you do all the bounty hunts.
But I didn't know for sure, but like I guessed from that point. And then like I figured it would be something to do with the end of the bounties. I thought we'd have to fight him, to be honest. But
her character.
What, the bounty lady?
The little... Yeah,
Cage.
I'd have liked her more if they didn't just make her green Cad Bane.
I see that. Oh, then she's got
you
two.
You do ask her something about her hat, because I was trying to figure out, is her hat the same hat as? Is it Cad Bane's hat?
Yeah.
When I first saw her, like I just saw the hat, I was like, oh my god, is that Cad Bane? But it's not. I thought she was cool. She's a cool character.
It could have been Cad Bane, and that could have added a bit more context to why he fought Boba Fett in his show.
Yeah, but I feel like...
Yeah, but that also stems to their history in the Clone Wars as well.
Yeah, I feel like Cad Bane would not want to work with a Jedi at that point, though.
I like quite a few of those characters as well in our cantina, though.
The whole canteen idea is just amazing. Like,
they were actually different kinds of aliens, because you got the little Skura, the fisherman dude. Oh, I loved him. I loved him. He reminded me of you, Chris. And then you've got little like little with a beard.
Cosplay win.
You got Turgle, the frog dude, who's just like.
I love Turgle.
I would literally die for Turgle.
Absolutely.
And then there was like holotactics people, like Bimmer and Tully.
The gay couple, the Slugman and his boyfriend, who stand outside. And just
outside.
I love them.
Live slug reaction.
I love that Goose's Cantina is essentially just a gay, like half of the people in there are gay.
Pretty much. I loved how like...
Did you go into that?
Oh, go on. I was going to say, I loved how as you went through the game, it just kind of populated it with all the people you'd seen and stuff.
But I didn't like how at the end of the game they were like, I'm going now, bye.
Yeah. What are you going to say, Brian?
You go into that house behind the shop.
The one with all the eyes on it?
Yeah. Oh, that was I don't know why, that was really creepy. Because you talk to him and he's going mad. And you say something, you can trust me, I'm your friend or something. And he opens the thing, you go down,
he locks the door.
His brother.
Like he locks the if you keep looking around and asking questions, he locks the door so you can't leave anyway. And I was like, well, this is weird. And then obviously you go down. And that's fucked up. Cool though.
Oh. What about the customization?
Well, yeah, like that's one of the big things that has been upgraded from the first game.
Yeah.
Although there's one thing missing. You can't change the ship color, which doesn't make sense to me story-wise even, because you've got the ship now. It's not even Grease's ship at this point when you have it at the start. Why can't you change the color of it?
Yeah.
When you could change it when it was his in Fallen Order.
Maybe Grease was the one who was buying all the paint.
Maybe. That would, maybe. Just a weird thing that I feel like they omitted for no reason.
I liked the amount of clothes you could get. I just didn't like the clothes.
Yeah, I get that.
Because it's like, they're designed to be mixed and matched, but some of the stuff would not go together at all.
Yeah, 100%.
So I just kept defaulting back to the starter outfit, just in different shades, because I'd end up going for like the dark undershirt, because he gets like the Jedi symbol on it, and just his normal jacket. And I was like, I'll just keep that. I just kept changing my lightsaber as I played.
I don't like that the only Jedi robes you could get were those like dusty, like moth-eaten ones from Jedi.
Oh, those tatty things.
See, I love.
We should have just nicked them from Dagon.
As soon as I got those, that's all I basically wore.
Yeah, same. But I'd have liked more of an option for Jedi robes.
Yeah, but then now after the game, I've changed to the there's ones that kind of remind me of what Obi-Wan wore in his show, like the more like half and half one. I don't even know.
The pure DLC.
No. I can't remember what they're called. I can't remember what they're called. Anyway, I changed them afterwards. But like before that, I was kind of like modelling myself after Cobb Vanth because one's got like a little neck thing.
Same.
Yeah. What haircut did everyone roll with?
I did try the mullet out. I'm not gonna lie.
I know. I saw your game with the mullet, and I was like, you can't be wearing this.
I was rocking his first game appearance for quite a bit at the beginning of the game after I'd managed to find him. So I had the poncho on. Oh, yeah, when you put the poncho on, he actually looks happy in his face. In the actual outfit thing. And when you choose the other ones, you just like, when you put the poncho on, he's like... flipping that hot spawn of bogged over.
You know what? I still ain't beat that. I need to go back and beat that. I could probably beat it now with the fucking evil force power thing.
Yeah, you can get his poncho from doing it.
Oh. I don't want the poncho. I've never liked the ponchos. I've never been a fan of the ponchos.
How can you not like the ponchos,
They all
Chris?
Sucked. There was never a good
like
colour one.
Ponchos?
I always just... When you know the one outfit where it was just his outfit without the poncho, I always wore that in the first game because I never liked any of the ponchos.
I liked them when the weather needed a poncho.
Yeah, like Kashyyyk. Yeah, I guess. What else? I feel like we're missing like a load of big story beats that we just completely glossed over.
The fact that everywhere you turn there's a new glup show.
Legit. Like, literally
there was
everywhere.
like 4 characters in the first game.
It's true. This is true. There's like so many characters in this one.
I like how all the High Republic stuff as well was either based about that one like big snake Jedi or Yaddle.
Yeah.
And I love that they made Cal Yaddle's Grand Padawan.
Say again.
They made Cal Yaddle's Grand Padawan. His master's master was Yaddle.
Yeah.
Oh. I never saw that bit. That's cool. I like that.
And I think one of the dialogues I had with Cordova, he was like, "Oh yes, me and my old friend Qui-Gon Jinn." I'm like, "That's wholesome."
That makes sense that they're friends.
Yeah,
but
that
Qui-Gon was like his senior because Qui-Gon showed him around.
Yeah,
it was like, oh,
because they look old.
I wish we got to keep that Imperial outfit.
Yeah.
Wait,
same.
is this not in your
Imperial base?
Can you not keep it? Is it not in your? I never looked afterwards to see if it's still there.
No, you don't get it. It's also when you're going through that bit, the entire background changes. It's like goes like
that's cool.
Red crystals, and it looked. Oh.
Did you talk to all the people? Wait, as you can go past.
It's so
fucking funny. I love just like all the little interactions and stuff. Like it was just this game is literally everything the first game did well, but just like expanded on and made. And
I really liked that it set up the ISB and the Inquisitors as like rivals.
Not liking each other. Yeah, literally, they're fighting each other at one point. I was like, oh, it's cool. I like that. I hope that we get to see more of that in like shows and stuff because that'd be cool. It makes sense that they're rivals because they do things completely the opposite way. Oh, you mean Rick the door technician? Fucking love that.
Mate, that took me so long. 4 hours.
I've heard if you do it on like the stupid difficulty, he is actually very hard. But I don't know how much truth is to that. I need to check it out myself.
I think it's true.
That'd be hilarious. But like when it's just like it's such a dramatic moment. He's come running down there and he's like, "I'm gonna kill you," or whatever. I just grabbed him with the force and then just went and just stabbed him. Fucking hilarious.
I hate those Dark Trooper things.
Yeah.
Oh, the big robot
ones.
Yeah.
Oh, like get away from me.
When I saw them first, I was like, they're from Rebels. That's sick. And then when I saw them second, I was like, oh, fuck's sake, I got to fight another one of these.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, they're hard to beat as well, especially if there's like more than one of them.
However, in the Holo Tactics game, those and the Droidicas are the way forward.
See, my tactics are very different in Holo Tactics. It's
basically... that Holo Tactics thing. It's like I was looking for my last Jedi scroll. I was like, I can't find it. It's not showing up on my map anyway. I can't find it. Like,
did you get it from
because
that?
I had to win it in that Holo Tactics thing.
But
I was like, where is it?
I always use those birds that headbutt you and it does a lot of damage.
Yeah.
I always use like 2 of them and then like a super battle droid and stuff, and I just never lost. Like, obviously, I've done them all, so I probably will at one point. But like, it's just like they're so OP, those bird things, because they hit like any of them and they're just basically dead. I was just like, I'm just gonna get an army of these and just make a load of these and put them in there and see what happens, and it works. I enjoyed Holo Tactics, but like sometimes it's just so random because you could put the same team out and win.
Yeah.
And but then put the same team out the next time you try and then lose, and you're like, that's just, it's so random at that point.
Did they explain? Do you know when you go to the array, the forest array, after you've met Z, and she's like, I need you to go up to the thing and turn something on?
Yeah.
Did they explain what that blue stuff was? The stuff when you step, you're like dead.
It's the same stuff that makes up those like weird crystals.
I thought you'd get rid of that.
Where does it come from?
I think it comes from that weird space anomaly.
Ah.
Well, like the thing in the nebula thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. That makes sense.
So I'm wondering if like, I don't think it was explained, but I'm wondering if like the Jedi took it there to study it, and then when they got absolutely fucked by the emergence, it just like got out.
Maybe. Yeah, I thought at one point you'd get rid of all that so you could properly explore that bit, but
yeah, same.
No. Like, I'm just looking at bits and there's boxes in there that I want to get, and I'm like, I can't be asked to move the fucking things. You need to carry the orb
you do to be able to get them ones.
That makes sense.
Oh, okay.
Because I thought we'd have to twist like the lights and stuff, and I was just like, fuck's sake, I can't be asked.
Yeah, it doesn't reach.
Trying to think some of the
collectibles.
I like that though. Like, you know what? I like the fact that I still want to play the game even though I finished it.
Yeah.
Like, and I like how they like the game. It's not like it ends and then they talk about the stuff after the game as well, like the characters and stuff, and the fact that you can get
post-game story.
Yeah, you can get like Bode's like echoes and stuff.
Force echoes.
Like, it's just really cool. Like the fact that it gives you like little things just for playing it, continue to playing it, and I like that.
And Carter's up in the roof with the seed lady. Oh, those seeds.
I never bothered with the gardening. Really.
It's like I sent Jake a picture because I'd unlocked all the map upgrades, and I sent him a picture of the Kobo map with all the little collectibles on. It's like, look, just
Did you unlock
I didn't notice until basically the end of the game that the seeds, you get them from the plants that have got the green little wisps around them. I thought you just picked them up at random.
I kind of guessed like halfway through I didn't notice straight away. Even though I was getting them, I just thought, just a random plant. But
yeah,
they put some of them in some awkward places as well. It's like there's one that it's just all on its own on like a ledge, and it's like, why would I have gone up there? There was nothing else up there.
Yeah,
why would I have gone up there?
In terms of overall for the story, do you think it's a better story than the first game?
I think so, because the High Republic is like stuff I'm actually interested in. But therefore, it's like, this is just a new little thing, which I've just got completely yeeted in this game. Just like,
because I was like, I can't find them. I'm back.
Give up. My lifelong obsession, couldn't find them, just gave up.
I think overall, I don't know whether I feel like Fallen Order's story across the board is better, because I feel like the last third of this game is like amazing story, but like I feel like there's a bit like I felt like there's a bit in the middle where I'm like,
the middle act
it's
kind of
alright.
lets it down a little.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's just like go here, get this, go here, get that.
It's a lot of
to find out
stuff.
that these are broken.
Like, I was really enjoying the start, and then kind of there's a bit in the middle where I'm just like, like when's stuff actually going to happen?
I'd say I preferred the way that Fallen Order's story was told. But I preferred the overall story of this game, I think.
Yeah, like the twists and turns in this story, like kind of elevate it.
And also because Cal's actually a character in this game.
Yeah.
Instead of him just being
like Luke Skywalker light.
Yeah. Very true. And they do a lot more with all of the characters, really. Like the only one I feel like they could have done a bit more with was Grease. But like I feel like that's difficult in what they were doing. Like he couldn't really do much, like other than be you know, the guy in the bar. I like
so they didn't reference the book at all, did they?
They were just kind of like, oh, it was my fault your arm got cut off. And then Grease was like, oh no, it's not.
Yeah. And I thought they may have referenced like Merrin's whole thing with Fret in the book, but they don't really. Like anyone who hasn't read the book doesn't know that she bats for every side. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Whereas, like, obviously we've read the book, we know it does not bother her like what the sex or anything. Like, it's just like
that flipping smutty book.
Mate, that book's like, I was listening to the audio book of that at work. I was like, a bit raunchy.
50 Shades Light.
Legit.
Mills and Boone.
But yeah, I love that. I love her and Cal are probably my highlight of the game. Like I love Seer's stuff, but like I knew in this game that Seer would die. I just had a feeling going into it. I was like, makes sense because she's the master at this point. So it's like if you get rid of the master, Cal has to step up in the next game.
Yeah.
So it makes sense for that because that's going to happen. And do you reckon Kat has got the Force?
Yeah.
For the next game. Do you reckon Cal's going to be training her?
I think the game will either be you're playing as Cal and she's like your apprentice that you're like trying to impart the skills on.
Yeah.
But I think gameplay wise, the best decision they could make really is to have her as the playable character because then like it's a blank slate.
I think
they could do a Last of Us 2.
That's what I think they'll do.
And
I think you'll start off as Cal and then I have a feeling Cal's going to struggle a lot more with the dark side in the next one and he's going to potentially go bad at some point. I think he'll come back eventually, but like I think he's going to go bad and then you're going to have to be Cat and potentially fight him.
Yeah.
Makes like questionable decisions to do the right thing, kind of like Anakin did.
Yeah.
Then it's your job then to
simmer him the fuck down.
The gal pals Merrin and Carter.
Yeah, man. I worry for Grease in the next game. I feel like if anyone's going to die next, it's going to be Grease. I don't know why. I just feel like...
Oh, no, he's lost a hand. He's safe.
Is that the rule, is it? The Star Wars rule?
Well, yeah, unless you lose 2 hands, then you're dead. But if you lose 1 hand, you're safe.
I think it's just a shame that we have to wait so long for the next game. Probably.
Yeah.
I would... do you reckon we could get any DLC for this one? Because
it's like customization kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Because I wish we had like the parts of the lightsabers from the first game.
Yeah, that's true.
And they could also add like, do you know how we've got the Luke bundle, the Han bundle, and Obi-Wan bundle? They could do like bundles for other like legendary characters. It's like, give me Ahsoka.
I mean,
give him like an outfit like hers in the Siege of Mandalore arc, because hers is basically like a Jedi outfit, just with the Beskar heart in it and all that stuff. And
I can see them adding stuff like that. I liked how you could basically dress as Kanan with the stuff they had in there anyway.
Yes, I had to do that.
But and there's
in some of the outfits as well, there's a couple of references in some of the outfits to like Legends characters. It's like, I think it's the Outrider set. And depending on what colour swap you have on it, you can make yourself kind of look like Dash Rendar from the Shadows of the Empire game back in like the 90s.
Back in there. I think they could add DLC, but I don't know. I'd like to see them like do like a little expansion of them setting up like Talinor and stuff. Maybe.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I feel like we wouldn't get that, but you never know. The EA tend to do DLC because they do for like obviously like Dragon Age and Mass Effect.
Sometimes they don't. Because they didn't for the first game, but they just added other kind of stuff to the first game. It's like with the first game, I think it was like May the 4th. They gave us like the New Game Plus, so you got the Inquisitor outfit, the Red Blade, that battle arena thing, which we don't have. It's lacking a battle arena.
I'd have liked for them to have explained the reason why we have a white lightsaber in this game, being that Cal purified Trilla's crystal.
Yeah, that would have been cool.
It's like I was explaining to Chris, it's like Dagon Gera's lightsaber, it's not red, it's orange. And he's like, are you sure that's not just your TV? I was like, no, because if you go New Game Plus, use the red lightsaber, they're different shades. If you use the orange lightsaber, they match up.
Weird that is.
That's interesting though, because the Ahsoka villains have an orange saber.
Yeah. Is that going to be the same reason?
It's because it's like yellow crystals which are being purified, or maybe it's the process of purifying. Because it's like, I wouldn't say Dagon Gera was full of rage and anger. He was just a bit like
annoyed,
pissed off.
It's just a bit annoyed. It's interesting.
So maybe that goes into it. So it's not necessarily bleeding the crystal. It's more tainting the crystal.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a horrible word, that is, isn't it?
I like the idea of like attaching like the crystal stuff to like emotions, but like we don't really see much more than just anger changing the color of a lightsaber. So it'd be cool if like any other emotion could change the color of a lightsaber.
It's like, is that also the first time we've actually seen canon-wise visually?
Physically done? Yeah. I think so. Jake, you probably better, if you probably more than likely know this more than me.
In like a non-book form, because it's in a comic, but like I don't think it's been in anything else.
It's not been like in like a TV show or a film, definitely.
No.
So yeah, it's cool. That is. It was cool to see. I like how a Force Echo woke him up as well. I thought that was cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you're inside the Force Echo with him.
Yeah.
It's like, you're not meant to be here. Did you know that bald dude, the person who voices him, is Admiral Rampart from Bad Batch?
Ah, that's cool. That's cool. Anything?
Yeah, I've got like a little list of like things I've written down, just like I make sure I mention that. It's like, ooh, wow.
Anything else anyone wants to talk about in terms of the game?
Has anybody had any of the major bugs and glitches?
I've just had a couple of crashes, but
I had one crash throughout my whole playthrough, which, to be fair, I think that's all right. I don't think that's too bad.
Most of my crashes have happened when I've jumped, which I find weird.
Oh, as in the light speed jump?
No, like, just jumped.
Oh.
Mine happened when it went into a cutscene, and then the cutscene went all weird, and then it just crashed. Like, the floor didn't appear in the cutscene. Like, they were floating, and I was like, what's going on? And then it just crashed on me, and I was like, I assumed the game was struggling at that point.
My crash happened when I was going to Jeddah for the first time, and it was when it did the light speed jump, and then you were flying down to a planet, it just went...
Yeah.
Mm.
And I was like, that was my main issue with that. But then I also found my audio wasn't synced with the cutscenes.
That was a problem in the first game, wasn't it?
And it was like...
See, I find it really hard to notice that. I think it's because a lot of the games I play are Japanese.
Mm.
So they don't match up anyway. So I just don't notice it.
What did both of you play it on?
PlayStation.
Yeah, same.
I was Xbox because it was cheaper.
Yeah. Did it run well on Xbox?
Yeah.
Yeah.
As I said, I only had like the one crash. And
did you play on performance mode or the other one? Quality mode, I guess.
Fidelity.
Fidelity, that's the one.
And Fidelity, I like my games looking pretty. It's like 60 frames. I don't give a damn about them.
See,
it's like I've been around since been Mega Drive, so.
Well, I will say there's a big difference between the modes, because I thought I started on performance mode, but I just didn't save the setting when I did it. So I got about halfway through the game before I noticed I wasn't in performance mode, and the game looked beautiful up to that point. I changed to performance mode for the last like half, and I was like, there's times where it's like your character looks blurry.
Yeah.
Which I don't know. I don't even remember if I got that in fidelity mode, but like your character kind of looks a bit blurry. You got like a weird ghost effect around your character, especially on Jedi.
That did happen to me a couple of times,
which
actually,
annoyed the fuck out of me. It didn't happen to me in cutscenes. Just as I was running around the desert, I had this like brown ghost just like around me.
In fact, no, it wasn't cutscenes. It was when you're in the lifts.
Oh yeah.
So like the lift would be moving, and then between me and the lift, there'd be like a blue little.
Yeah, I think it's just.
Why do I keep going so pale?
It's probably just one of those visual glitches that they'll probably patch out at some point.
Yeah,
but I think it ran relatively well on PS5 in terms of like frame rate and stuff. For me, didn't really dip that much.
Didn't run into any of those issues the PC players had.
Mate, apparently it's so bad.
And everyone's crying about. I still love the thing. I wish they'd release games which were completed like in the olden days. It's like, dude, do you remember in the olden days, if you had a broken game, you had a broken game. That would be it. Has everybody forgotten E.T.?
Yeah.
That gaming industry crash in the 80s, E.T., because it was a broken game.
I get like being annoyed at that if you're a PC player, because obviously it's not the first time a PC port has been terrible. Like Arkham Knight was atrocious, and people are saying that this is on that level. I don't think it is. It's not that bad.
But also, like PCs vary so wildly differently.
That's
like
why
PlayStation's PlayStation, Xbox is Xbox. They're always going to have problems because
there's so many different variables in the thing, and it's like it's really hard to check and test all those different variables.
And
I think part of the problem is that people push games to do more and be more innovative now than they did in the past. So like games are evolving so like much quicker that it's harder for the developers and the consoles to like keep on top of the problems.
Yeah. And at the end of the day, console players is their main demographic for any game.
Yeah.
Unless it's like an RTS or something, because like let's face it, that's the main percentage of people that play the games. Like the PC gamers, although it is growing, it's still a small amount compared to like Xbox gamers, PlayStation gamers combined. You know what I mean? Or even just
Chris, you're going to have to put your armor on now. All the flipping PC players are going to come after you now.
I have a PC, recently bought. I play games on PC, but it's always
such a bore like to set them up, innit?
I always check that. I never pre-order a game on PC. I'm always like, I need to know how the PC port plays before I like commit to getting it on PC. I wasn't going to get this on PC anyway because I know Kate wants to play it and we do the game share thing. So either way, but I'm glad I didn't. I definitely wouldn't have seen how it performed. It's bad that PC ports are bad, but you know, at the end of the day, I don't know. Developers should really potentially have delayed the PC version.
It does crack me up that the PC players go on like the absolute like God's gift to Earth, and yet none of the PC games work.
I was saying this to Corey because, like, remember, like, people were saying, like, PC players are saying, like, oh, everyone, even console players, should be angry that it doesn't work on PC as well. And it's like, but like, where were those PC players when fucking Cyberpunk didn't work on the consoles? They're all like saying, get a PC, you know, it'll work for you then. Like, they were not all of them. I'm not going to say all PC players are bad, but like, there's a certain set of like the PC elitists that are like, they'll sit there. Yeah, they'll sit there and say, "Oh, get a PC, or your games will play better." Like, "Oh, so you can play Cyberpunk without crashing or whatever." But then when it's a problem on their side, they're like, "Oh, I can't go play it on the console because the peasant console. It's the peasant way of playing games and shit like that." It just really annoys me. But like,
and then
go on.
And then there's also that issue with how much of the game is included in the disc.
Mm.
And the whole download thing. And I can kind of see the issue with that, especially for Americans, where you buy the game and there's hardly any of the game on, and you need to download the rest of it onto your console via the internet, or it could overwrite the entire thing and be downloaded. Because they've got data limit caps. They don't have it like we've got over in the UK, where we pay X amount a month, you just get unlimited internet. They've like limited at like a certain amount, and then they get overcharged for going over it.
That would suck if we had that here. The game was massive though in terms of size. It was like 100 something gigabytes, right?
135 gigabytes.
I get why it is a very expansive game,
then
it's massive.
I couldn't understand why it was so big though, because it's a big game, but then it's like I've played bigger.
Yeah,
which haven't been
like Horizon was smaller than that, but I feel like that. I think it's the only reason it's so big is because it's not optimized really very well. It'll probably get smaller.
Like, and Assassin's Creed Valhalla, that game is massive, and it's still nowhere near the size of it.
Yeah. It's just not very well optimized, but they did rush it out because they wanted to get ahead of Zelda, and I like how they were honest about that, but like, it still sucks for the people it don't work for though, like.
Yeah, but it was initially going to come out like a month before it was.
Yeah. And can you imagine what state it was in then? Like, don't get me wrong, I had some bugs, but it wasn't like terrible.
Game breaking or...
Apparently the day one patch fixed a lot of it, for at least console people. But like, it wasn't the worst thing in the world for me. Like,
to be fair, like, I know that like the PC did have a lot of issues that weren't fixed straight away, where the console did. But like the PC patch came out like the day after.
Yeah, and to be fair, I've seen people playing it on PC and it seems to run okay now.
Yeah.
Like they're playing the bit with where Merrin's putting you through all those portals and stuff, and I'm like, if it's gonna like stutter anywhere, it's gonna stutter there.
It'll be there.
It didn't for me, and it's not from the PC players I'm watching. But then again, it depends on your rig. But at the end of the day,
always like another patch
check what your rig is
as well.
Works.
So they're pumping these patches out. It's just at the moment they're fixing bugs and stuff before they go after optimization.
Yeah.
Which is kind of fair enough.
Yeah, it runs relatively well on console as far as... like, it wasn't like game breaking that I couldn't play it. Like, yeah, it had some slowdowns and frames at some point, but like, it wasn't game breaking. Like, I could deal.
I've never noticed a slowdown in frames in any game apart from Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, and it was nowhere near that bad.
How do you even notice it in Pokemon? Was it that bad? I never played it.
There's a windmill that literally goes.
Oh no.
There's a bit where you have all these sunflowers following you, and like the more sunflowers you get following you, the worse it gets.
Oh no.
Yeah, I still haven't played that one yet.
Anything else? Anyone want to talk about?
Nothing I can think of. I'm gonna have to shoot off though because my shopping's going to arrive.
No, I'm looking at the things as well as like. No, I think we've covered everything. Apart from what would you rate it out of 10?
Out of 10.
What do you normally rate things
8 points. I don't even. We don't.
I'll give it a 9.
8.7.
I'd give it a high 8 to low 9.
Yeah, we're right about the same then, all of us. Right, so Jake can go get his shopping. We'll end that there. Thanks for watching. Let us know what you think of the game in the comments and what you think is going to happen in the next game. And yeah, like, subscribe and all that jazz. And we'll see you next time. Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.